and will be presiding over this evening and our annual town meeting, which starts at 7 o'clock in this hall on Monday evening. The purpose for this evening is to walk new members through the process for town meeting. It's not a pre-debate of items to be debated during the annual town meeting. If you have a technical question, what's this mean? Obviously, we'll deal with that. With me this evening is the town manager and his colleagues.
Yeah, good evening, Kevin Mizikar, Town Manager. To my right, Assistant Town Manager for Finance, David Snowden. And to my left, Management Analyst, Alex Martinez.
So the purpose is to understand how town meeting operates, why we do what we do, and how we do it. I prefer to run this in a very easy-going, give-and-take format. We will walk through the Finance Committee's recommendation at some point. The roles for town meeting. The Finance Committee meets periodically throughout the year and deliberates on a variety of issues brought to it. The Board of Selectmen actually sets the town meeting warrant, and then should residents feel compelled, they can go and get signatures and seek a petition article. And the town moderator's role is it's defined in both statute and in the bylaw. The role is the presiding officer of the annual town meeting held in May of each year, and any special town meeting that may be called by the Board of Selectmen during the year. During the town meeting, the moderator announces and explains the articles contained in the meeting warrant, conducts the discussion of each article, makes the rulings as needed on the articles and any proposed amendments to articles, calls for a vote on each article, and announces the results. The moderator is the final authority on all procedural issues that arise during town meeting. The town bylaws mandate that we use town meeting time as our parliamentary practice. So the way this town meeting has always operated, and although we say it at the beginning of the meeting, you know, we're supposed to address the issue. We don't use names. We don't applause when we're happy. We don't boo when we're mad. So we've always operated as a very adult, mature setting, and I'm sure this week's meeting will be the same way. So having said that, there's a variety of ways we could go through this evening. I think it makes the most sense to basically walk through how the meeting will go. For the meeting, town meeting members will be asked to come down the front, not looking to jam anyone. Sit where you're comfortable. The big point is to be this side of the tellers who work for the town clerk. We do that in case there's a standing vote, so we know who is a member of town meeting and who may not be. We have a gentleman here this evening who came out to observe who's not a member of town meeting. The folks down close on Monday evening will be asked to wear their town meeting member sticker so that we know who can vote and who can't. On the stage Monday, I'll be up there in the middle. The town clerk will be immediately to my right, town council, the finance, David will then be there, and the finance committee will be on the right. And then to my left will be the manager and the Board of Selectmen. The way it operates is once we get underway, I call the article. The chair of the Board of Selectmen will move the printed motion under the article, will be seconded by the vice chair, and then we will start the conversation. Some items will have a considerable amount of debate. Others will look, nobody will have anything, and we'll call the vote. As has been the practice since the pandemic, we will, I have bundled items. We're waiting for one final approval on one vote. But Monday evening, I envision having these available for folks, so you will have it in your chair so that we avoid any confusion. You'll have it up front rather when you check in. And basically, Articles 1 through 8 we will take individually because of the nature. 9 through 11 we will propose as a bundle. Obviously, if there's a single question, we go to that question, we answer it before we take a vote. 12 through 16 are then bundled. 17 through 26 are bundled. Again, any question, you simply ask for that article to be held, and we deal with that matter. 27 through 34 are individual votes. 35 through 43 are bundled, but again, we can go through the individuals. And then 44 to 54 are individual votes for a variety of reasons. So, having said that, I think it makes sense at this point to refer you to your annual town meeting report from the Finance Committee. What's interesting about our town bylaw, or the Enabling Act, I should say, is that people look at the selectmen as setting the budget. They actually don't. The manager develops a budget and then reports it to the Finance Committee. It's in the Finance Committee's budget, and that's why you get the report of the Finance Committee. I would encourage you to open that and really read page 1, which is the town meeting procedure, which I think I have generally outlined for you, and I think I've done it accurately. So give that a read. It again shows how we do things, how we work through the various issues. Great report from the Finance Committee, as is the usual standard. We'll start at Article 1, which is a report of the committee, of the Beal Early Childhood Center Building Committee. Sandy Frick is now chair, and she will provide that report. And then we'll walk through each article. And I will advise town meeting whether it's a simple majority. We have a 4/5 this year, which is an interesting one. Excuse me for my glasses. Article 5 requires a 4/5 vote. And we will then go through the budget when we get to, when we get to Article 8. And what we'll do on this is we will walk through each page. We'll start with page 13, 119, Personnel Board, I'll look. And then we'll go 122, and I'll look. If no one's asked, then we'll go over to 123 on page 14, and we will simply walk our way through it, allowing any questions that may come forward. And then we will get to the school committee, and the chair of the school committee and the superintendent will then give a presentation. And that should wrap up the budget. And then we'll take that vote, and then we'll move to Article 9. And then once again, we'll advise what's bundled, but you'll have that with you so you can follow along. But the bundling is intended to move along those items for which there are no questions. If you have questions, you just raise your hand and we deal with it. And that's really the story for the night. Are there any questions on process or procedure? Yes, sir. Could you stand up so people can hear you?
Good evening, President. So when you bundle the articles, and let's say there is an issue with one article,
Sure.
So do we have an opportunity to unbundle?
Oh, no. The bundling is the concept as we arrive at the articles. Say we did 9, 10, and 11. You had a question. I would say 9, 10. If you had a question on 10, we'd deal with it. Then we could say 11, and we would deal with it. And then we would call the vote.
So the vote would be still on a bundled article?
It could be. It could be unless it became, say somebody wanted to amend it and it became unique unto itself, then I would unbundle it and call the other vote. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's fine. But if in the event no one has a question on the majority of the recommendations of the Community Preservation Act, then we could take a whole bunch and bundle them and take one simple vote. Any other procedure? Yes, sir.
Jason Molina, Precinct 1. You said 44 is on its own, but what was it, 44 with 54? Isn't 44, doesn't that need a 2/3 for land?
That's 44 is on its own as a 2/3.
Oh, on its own, okay. I
Yes,
thought
sir.
you said 44 to 54 was bundled.
No, excuse me if I did. I'm under about 16 different decongestions, so I'm sticking together. I apologize if I said that. No,
problem.
44 through 54 will each be taken as an individual vote.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, most of those are two-thirds. 44 is taken as a two-thirds and involves land and debt and money appropriation. And then 45 is a simple majority because although it involves land, there is no money mentioned.
Got it, thanks.
Any other? Yes, sir, Charlie. Could you please come down here, please?
Why is Article 5 required to have a 4/5 vote?
Because of the nature of the last year's appropriation, and I'll ask the manager to get into the specifics.
Sure. So this was a bill that was incurred for services provided in the prior fiscal year. And so once we close the books on any fiscal year, we're not allowed to reopen them and make payment. So these services were rendered in the spring of 2022, but not billed until September. So the general laws require that the only way we can pay a bill from a prior year is to come back to town meeting and seek a separate appropriation. And the general laws also require that vote to be of 4/5 majority.
And who makes that determination? The law is dictating that.
Yes,
can be done.
yep.
Okay, good, thank you.
Certainly. Yes, sir.
Hi there, Madhuk Mishra, Precinct 4. My question is, how do you sort of figure out which one, is it general majority or a specific percentage?
If it involves debt, it's a two-thirds. If it involves this unique situation, it's a 4/5. If it's land, but no money, then it's a majority. If it's land with money, then it's
So is that printed here?
two-thirds.
Can we sort of see when we are reading?
When
this,
you,
no matter what
when,
type of
when
majority
we
it
have
is?
the final matter dealt with on Monday night, you'll get this, which will show you the bundle number, the article subject, category miscellaneous financial, and then the quantum majority, 4/5, two-thirds, what have you.
Got it. And when you bundle, of course, you take into consideration that it's all within the bundle.
It would be the same. You wouldn't want to bundle one with another. No,
Got it. Thank you.
wouldn't be helpful. Any other questions, comments? Comments, questions? Yes, Maureen.
Maureen Harrington, Precinct 1. Just a question, Mr. King, regarding, I've been asked by folks in Precinct 1 about public comment at town meeting. When would that opportunity be for folks who aren't necessarily town meeting members be able to make public comment regarding an article?
After the town meeting members have spoken, our rules allow for non-town meeting members to speak. So if there's 5 people and they all are commenting on one thing, I would ask that one say, I'm here speaking for my neighbors, as opposed to 5 people saying the same thing.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, comments? Carol? Usually you criticize me, so what have I done wrong already? She does. She's very tough. Very tough. Carlos, why don't you introduce yourself? You just got elected. You're in the back row sitting quietly. Stand up and say hello.
Hello everyone, Carlos Garcia, newest member of the select board. Happy to be here. Looking forward to town meeting on Monday. Thank you for being involved as part of the legislative process. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Welcome. Any other comments or questions? Got a pen? 508 728 0476. If tomorrow you come up with a question, text me at that number. Please say who you are, and then I'll give you a buzz as soon as I'm able to do so. No, I'm not going to say it again. 508 728 0476. Yes, it is. So honestly, I know sometimes tonight you're not, tomorrow, Sunday, you're overlooking it. I'm having breakfast with my mother Sunday mornings, but any other time, just text me and I'll give you a buzz if you have a question or a concern that comes up between now and Monday. All right, no other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Mark Adler, Precinct 1. Will there be, if there's a second night, do we have a schedule for that?
Tuesday. So Monday, we will start at 7. Our tradition is we go to 10, and then if the body wishes to carry on, they take a vote, and the body can carry on. If people have had enough at 10, then we will adjourn for 7 p.m. on Tuesday. And then the same rule applies. Well, I hate to get home in time for Gunsmoke, but if there aren't any more questions, then let's all get out and enjoy this evening. Okay, thank you. Have a great night.